and why would one patient choose a breast lift with an implant versus breast lift with fat grafting?
Yeah, great question. Well, the way I sort of think about it is if you have some breast tissue, a lot of women have a good amount of breast tissue. It's just that they lose the volume with either weight gain and loss and pregnancy, right? So you're a great candidate for a natural bra because now what I'm essentially doing is changing the arch. It's the same breast tissue that's been sort of widened and flattened and fallen. And now I'm taking that and I'm sort of repackaging it in a very perky, tight format high up on your chest. So you're not really losing any volume. You just it's just being tight. It's just tight and perky. And what's interesting, a lot of my patients after the surgery, they come to me, let's say they started as a D cup, and then they say, you know what, I feel smaller. And my answer is that you're not smaller. It's just that it's like a petals of a flower that had opened up, right? It's taken a lot more space. And then when you put it back together, like a lotus, right? It comes back together. It's the same thing. It's just in a tighter package. Now that looks better because it's perky and it sits up high, but it feels like the volume is less. And I always remind my patients, I say, listen, you used to pour your breast into a cup of a bra, right? It's a bra that's sort of in a cup form and everything sort of fills in there. Now you don't even need that. It's just literally maintaining its shape and its position without a bra, right? So that's the big advantage. If you're an A cup or a B cup, you're likely going to need an implant because you want to have that projection. But my patients that are C cup, D cup or higher, they all look great and fantastic without a need for an implant. Because remember, I'm also adding the fat to give you that fullness and more cleavage, and also to provide better symmetry. But if you're an A cup, there's really not a lot of breast tissue to start with, right? Or if you're a B cup that's been, again, sort of flattened and saggy, there's not a lot of breast tissue to work with. So even adding a little bit of fat is not going to quite get you there. So here's the way to think about it. If you're really interested in having that projection and having things really come out and stick out, implant is probably a good option to think about. And you can think, we can talk about how much the size of the implant should be. But if you're pretty much happy with how you look in a bra in terms of projection, then I think we can get you there using the natural bra technique as well as the fat grafting. And for patients who've had implants, most of the time the implant is still stuck up here and the breast is fallen, right? So we remove that implant. And then once we lift the breast up, you're like, oh my God, I still have the same look without the implant.
Yeah.
So it's really nice.